Yes, I totally understand right now. Apollo going to be the first ban here for New Game Plus, and that's been a very popular pick. I don't know exactly what his win rate is, but his pick percentage is through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, he's out of control. Not only does he have all the positives as far as the lane is concerned, big lane push, and he is strong in dual 1v1 fights, but he's also got a global ultimate that is just icing on the cake.
He does it all. He does it all.
really
Everything
does.
you want out of the hunter position: early lane clear, late game carry potential, split push potential.
Would you play him
global-
in the mid lane?
Absolutely. I love Apollo. And I love him in the mid lane. I mean, you don't get the items that you need early on, and that's why I think Hunter mid is kind of lackluster in general, because you need so much farm as a Hunter, and you just don't get it in the middle lane. But if Apollo's open and we need to fit him somewhere and it's not going to be Hunter, I'm down.
Ratatasker is the selection for New Game Plus. We'll see how they work out with that in the jungle. Susano and Sylvanas will be last minute monster selection. Susano has been, okay. I understand a lot of what's been going. Why is Susano rose from the grave?
Bluestone Pendant. Being able to pick up Bluestone Pendant at level 1, it just synergizes so well with so many of his abilities, and you're just able to get that safe poke off and make it that much more potent. That's exactly what Susano excels at. He's not there to necessarily 100-0 you in the early game.
Yeah.
Poke, poke, poke. Now I all in you and kill you, and then you can't catch me because I'm super mobile.
A lot of different options. In fact, I want to give a shout out to a North American player, Mask, who won't be in Relegations. He put out a video actually going through some of the Season 4 starts in the jungle. Everybody really seeing Season 4 competitively here for the first time. You can go home and check out Mask's YouTube channel, and he breaks it down. You can start off with Death Toll, you can start off with a lot of those starter items, but that Bluestone is why Susano is relevant. He'll be paired with Sylvanas and Giannis. Wow, that is a slippery team composition, to say the least, on Last Minute Monsters.
Sylvanas, not necessarily the most mobile, but when paired with a Giannis, he can be. He can go through those portals, and you're not as worried about his immobility. Plus, you've got the sustain, whereas you don't have any right now on the side of New Game Plus. But Repicos gets Ratatosker again, and as such, I expect to see him in that duo lane early and often.
Repicos on the Ratatasker, I'm a lot happier here. He's going to be able to be more of the driver rather than a facilitator, as we saw in the Jungle Athena. That didn't work for a number of reasons. I won't get into it just yet.
What's the itemization, Tom? What if he had built hybrid? Do you think that would have been better?
I got a little passionate, okay? I got a little passionate. Sometimes we get excited. Bologna and Poseidon and Uller. What a surprise here. Game Hunter is going to play Uller. I'm so surprised. In other news, the sun will rise tomorrow. Ymir is going to round out that draft as well. On her on the other side. I want to see On her just fight.
I mean, that's what On her does better than just about any other Hunter, is fight you in lane over and over and over again.
I want to see him fight.
Yeah, Uller, if he gets a lead, really, really difficult to fight, but when Uller falls behind, he feels very, very difficult to get back into the game with.
It should be very interesting. I like the Izanami ban here, almost forcing out the On her. And, you know, I'm not going to sell my fish before they're in the boat, but I think it's interesting. I think the On her might actually be more successful. Yeah,
I mean, Izanami, the Uller-Izanami matchup seems pretty heavily in Uller's favor. If you go for a Game Hunter style of build, which is starting off with Bluestone Pendant, you can really prevent her from going into that fadeaway stealth at any stage of the game. But Game Hunter, maybe he just wants something new in lane. He's been playing against Izanami all day long. Like, give me something new.
Give me something new. Joshi, who has been a strong Apollo player today, will be taking out the On her. And, you know, it's interesting, Ryan. I don't think that Joshi didn't really show us that he's going to be the 1v1 guy.
Joshi. He's
Joshi.
in some trouble. He's not going to find a 1v1 here. He's going to find many, many members. He tried to get the jump, but he's not going to get it off in time. There it is, Game Hunter with the first blood. That is almost the worst possible scenario for Joshi. The only positive, and I mean the only positive, is that he saved purification beads. That's it. I mean, if you're going to full commit to jumping out right away, just beads and jump, and then you don't get hit by the chain CC. Instead, he saves it, still procs into the jump, and dies, and gives the first blood to his lane opponent.
And Game Hunter is here just battling Half Devil. Gonna miss the stun, gonna miss the basics.
Half Devil, he needs to back up. He needs to back up. Murder around the backside. There's the shell. That's what saves his life there, as well as Game Hunter. Oh, actually, he might be in trouble now. Love the purification from him and the shell, but it's the long-range AoE autos. Game Hunter gonna fall to Half Devil.
Listen,
what is happening over
I
there,
said
dude?
I wanted a fight. We get a Giannis Sylvanas, let's be honest. I wanted to see a all-out brawl. We already got it. Not even a minute, and we got a kill on each side. I am down, Charlie Brown.
And you know what's funny?
What?
If Joshi has Impale, Game Hunter lives. the disperse is the only thing that closes the gap.
Because he knocks him back.
Because he knocks him up, forces purification, and then guarantees a second auto attack.
So, see, this is why. Let this
Calculated.
No. This is just a philosophical life lesson.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes...
Wait, let me get my notepad.
Sometimes life deals you a bad hand, and it seems like you're in a bad spot. You're a level 1 on her with jump. But then it's the exact tool you need to finish your job.
Always level disperse at 1.
This is why you qualified beneath me, Aggro.
Got it.
New game plus, 1-to-1 right here. Half Devil, about half HP, but Hestrix being chased around the jungle. Repicas, his torturer, his tormentor is the word I was thinking of.
Yeah, and he's been tormenting duo lanes all day long,
Except
specifically
when he plays Athena.
on this Ratatosker.
There you go.
Yeah, I was getting there. Don't you worry. He's going to be able to really make plays happen onto Joshi, and that's going to be the game plan. Has been get Game Hunter ahead, but this time it's on the right-hand side, but he blocks the dash rebound.
The dash!
Nowhere to go, but he misses. He jukes the bludgeon and the acorn blast. He's out, I think.
He's
Half
gotta
Devil.
be. Half Devil on the other
He's
hand
out too!
is also out. Murdered might be a different story. Hestrix is here, finds another dash, walking over to the other side, still gonna be good. Oh, wrapping around backside.
He's coming.
Karo says hello.
Someone.
Here's the whirlpool. There's the beads,
beads.
and Hestrix will be fine. Karo's gonna get impaled, and that should be not a big deal. Still 1-to-1.
This is just craziness. I mean, this duo lane side, the right side, basically everywhere but mid has just been just a clown fiesta.
So this is actually really interesting. We usually see 2 phases in these really long days, whether it be relegation, Challenger Cup. May it rest in peace as we've changed it. Challenger is now a circuit. But those long, long days, we see strong play because everybody wants to prove themselves right. Hestrix battling it out against these Harpies.
He's going to prove that he's better than those Oracle Harpies, and he will get them with the help of Half Devil. And again, it's not necessarily about the golden experience, so that is very important at this stage.
Vision.
It's the vision giving you rotational understandings.
So when it comes down to it, you get this early push where all these players are playing their face off, right? And everybody's looking for their rotational understandings. And then once you get in the middle of the long day, everybody sort of gets really sloppy.
Yes.
And then at the end, everybody forgets it's a MOBA and just brawls.
And that favors certain teams. I mean, teams like Elevate really like to just brawl you out anyway, so they're totally fine with that. Other teams that may be a little bit more cerebral, more focused on the macro stages of the game, maybe not as favored in those sorts of scenarios.
Which one of those? Honestly, I think a lot of our European relegation teams are more of the brawlers. I mean, Elevate, Mirrodin's is built on just fighting. Dardas and Jermaine are the fight you lane, right?
Yes.
And when you look across the way at Last Minute Monsters, Half Devil always wants to fight you. Even this team, New Game Plus, Game Hunter, for better or for worse, will take the fight.
He always will, unless it's a fight in not his lane, in which case he's staying put and split pushing.
No, he's got to be in his lane.
Yeah, that's what he likes to do. But if you come to him, he's down.
Oh, rally there, rebound. Not going to bounce back off of that one. But here's help from the jungle. Hestrix pulls him. No numbers is going to get knocked up, but here's help again from the jungle.
Ooh.
Not juking that hammer. Reppy goes under the tower. Still looking for more. Not going to find it. That's slippery. Bluestone.
No, he's
not
got the death
purchased.
stall. He's got the death stall. Not going to be able to get that. But because of that death stall and Scourge staying able to get him up to about a quarter HP there. And Repicas just, again, exactly where he needs to be every single time on this Ratatosker.
Just an understanding of the map. And that's what you can hang on to as far as the veterancy coming out from this player. I was going to make fun of you, but in all honesty, the rotational understanding. The understanding of how to make these rotations and how the map impacts macro was a good word before. By the way, no numbers. He's got a couple of numbers, one of which are in the death column.
Yeah, just staying a little bit too long. I know he got a little bit of saying from the Scourge or from the death stall and all that's sick and all, but not quite enough, as you mentioned. Hestrix making his way over to this left-hand side. Oracle Harpies due to respawn fairly soon. Karo does have his ultimate available. We haven't seen a Kraken quite yet. He's gone directly for this Dynasty Plate Helm, really not looking to get poked out by Hestrix on the Susano.
Which is a really big deal, as Hestrix is very mobile, and he's able to just sort of surprise you. But at the same time, Kiro ought to be a little bit safer than other mages because of the fact that he can drop a cripple on his feet, no?
It's sort of, but it doesn't stop the first 2 procs of that Storm Kata from doing a ton of your HP. And Susano's so quick anyways, it would make me nervous about it.
Well, there's a little bit of help. Nice stun, blocking the portal, not for long. Farrakrick able to get out of there.
2 different targets there very, very clearly, and that's very surprising because, you know, we've said it a lot. We saw that Frezzy and Frostiak were on different targets, and that's expected because they're new teammates. But Caro and Repicot's been playing together for quite some time under the Cringe Crew name during Season 3. But there you saw Caro wanting to use the Kraken on Half Devil, whereas Repicot, he wanted to go after Farrakrick on that Giannis.
Now here's actually the question: which was the right target?
Giannis. If he's that late on his purification.
Question. The right target is whatever you guys are targeting at the same time. It doesn't matter if it's Half Devil or Giannis, as long as you're targeting the same target.
No, I don't think they have enough burst damage to kill Half Devil quite yet. There's the Whirlpool directly timed onto Hestrix, but no Kraken quite yet. Repicot going deep, securing that kill, but he's going to trade out his life. Meanwhile, Half Devil, he picks up Caro in response. Murder's going to be next.
He gets taken down. Big rotation out of the Honor. Ultimate coming through. Desert's Fury claims the life. 5 kills in total for LMM. You're sitting there shaking your head, Ryan. What's going on?
Very, very sloppy play from New Game Plus. Uncharacteristically sloppy from them, and just all-inning for a kill that isn't that important. There's not a whole lot up to take.
Yeah.
The speed buff is just respawn, but that's about it. And they're going to lose their Tier 1 tower in middle because of it, which really exposes Caro to any sort of gank potential from Hestrix.
7-minute tower in the mid lane.
There's nothing that frustrates me more as a mid laner than losing my tower early. Now on Poseidon, okay, it's not the worst thing. I've got a ton of movement speed, but like if I'm playing Zeus or Isis and I lose my tower pre-10 minutes, I'm just like, really guys? Like we really couldn't handle this?
Here's the thing, you lose your tower in dual lane and it's not a great look, but oh well, so be it. You lose your tower in solo lane, and in all honesty, sometimes that's better if you're severely losing the lane, because you're forced into a safe spot. But here, the Kraken comes out and just whiffs as Farrakrick walks through a wall. One of the problems with losing your Tier 1 tower in the mid lane so hard, so early, is you lose the Ali Oxen free spot when you're trying to find a different objective.
Very, very much so, especially when you don't have any sort of dash or sort of teleport like Raijin or Scylla that can really get you out of danger. No Murder pulled into the tower here. I don't think he's going to die, but he's getting a lot of damage. Actually, Half Devil, he's trying to solo the enemy's support, uses the Wrath of Terror, but Murder is going to be able to get out of there. Shell in tow, but through space and time, they're looking to chase him down.
Gold Fury is going to be stolen by New Game Plus, and I say stolen because Last Minute Monsters are too busy chasing a support.
Last Minute Monsters got gold. Last Minute Monsters got gold. Joshy stole it.
So they stole the stolen Gold Fury.
Yeah.
Ain't no honor among thieves. LMM take it away. And they take the life of a Murder as well.
How? They just don't see Joshy coming around the corner? They've got a ward there. They must not have respected his burst. Again, so sloppy from New Game Plus. And then we see in the middle lane beforehand, Farrakrick, Caro just in a different area code with the Kraken. Now that one really isn't on him necessarily. That's more on Repicot not finding a home with that Acorn Blast. True. Specifically knowing that that Farrakrick's purification is down. And you trust your jungler to hit his CC.
You have to. So if Kiro, I would actually be more upset if Kiro doesn't crack in there than if he does and misses it. Because you have to trust a teammate. Especially when you're sitting here down 4 kills, an absorbent amount of gold. You're already missing a tower, and there's only 3 digits on the clock. You have to trust your teammates because they're the only ones that are getting you out of this game. You're not winning this game 1-on-5. You have to play 5-on-5.
This is what you see a lot from teams that have been eliminated, like Last Minute Monsters have from making, is that they just play loose. They're, yeah, we got nothing to lose. Let's go mess around and play some Smite game with our friends. Like, that's all it is. And you end up playing so much better because of it. And this game is incredibly important for New Game Plus. They don't need to win this to qualify, but they control their own destiny. And if they win this game, it's over. They're in the SPL, and they're not playing like they're ready to go there.
Well, here's the thing. That's the feeling on all Half Devil teams all the time. It's just, let's play Smite game with our friends, you know? So that loose Last Minute Monsters feeling, I mean, this is their one of their last times. This team, specifically focusing on Half Devil just likes to play on the big stage. He enjoys the competition. He doesn't really get a chance to do it all the time. So being here, in, out, doesn't really matter. He's going to take the same approach, and his team is going to follow suit. That's why Last Minute Monsters and Half Devil historically, throughout the course of Relegations and other tournaments, Half Devil has played spoiler a lot of the time because of that mentality.
Caro, he's caught out, nowhere to go, through space and time. Finds a home there in him. Hestrix able to pick him up now. No, it's going to be Rebound with the dazzling offensive, going to pick up Murder as well. No numbers. Now he's on the run. 4v2. Nice two-man stun there from Repicos to buy him a little bit of time. Hestrix wants to chase him down, but just can't. No numbers. Still fighting in the middle of everyone. He's got no ultimate here. Needs to be very careful. Joshy just a little bit out of range with that Desert's Fury.
Where is Repicos? Where is Game Hunter? They're watching. They're sitting there watching.
Finally, Repicos decides to put his hands on the keyboard and do something, and is able to pick up Farrakrick there, a much-needed kill onto the Giannis. He was level 12, 1, 0, and 6. Finally, someone's able to pick him up. No numbers teleports in. No ultimate available, though, and there's still 4 members up here.
I feel like No Numbers is Parasite from that famous COD clip. Look at my bank account. I'm sitting here at the top of the net worth while you guys are sitting here watching.
I actually believe that was Mercs on that team, on Farico Impact. Come on, I come from COD, dude.
Parasite that's like, was sitting there watching.
He was on the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it was Mercs.
Yelling?
Yeah. It was either him or Killa, but I'm pretty sure it was Mercs.
It wasn't Killa, so it was Mercs. In any event, my point is that Repicos is on the outside looking in, and that just wasn't the right look. And of course, shout-outs to our COD friends. They're actually here in Atlanta this weekend.
It's true, yeah.
So Atlanta's hopping. We do the SMITE World Championships every year here in Atlanta, and then we just saw Counter-Strike, and now we have Call of Duty. It's really cool to see Atlanta be such a hub, because the European teams fly over here. We get the American teams here as well, and you know, Atlanta's really shaping out to be an esports city.
Yeah, it's pretty neat over here. It's not so bad.
It's pretty neat, ladies and gentlemen. The man that gets paid to talk.
It's neat, dude. What do you want from me? That's exactly what it is. I'm just telling it exactly. I'm not trying to oversell. I'm not trying to undersell. I'm just being real with our viewers. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty neat. You can tell by the way that it is.
Sure can.
Last Minute Monsters.
How neat is that?
Last Minute Monsters have just had no respect, woo, at all for New Game Plus's territory. Constantly in the enemy jungle. At this point, it doesn't even feel like an invade. It's like they're leasing the red buff from the opposition.
But this is the exact sort of position that Nova Sorsa was in last game, is that of Last Minute Monsters. They were ahead about 3,500 gold around the 14-minute mark, and Elevate found a way back into it, and it was all around their Hunter, Flurry Q, getting picked off.
True.
Joshy has to be careful and make sure, basically all of Last Minute Monsters have to be very wary of their positioning, even still.
Well, there's you know, I have one of my F-dot-isms around here. You got to play your lead, but you can't let the lead play you. And right now, Last Minute Monsters, they're towing that line pretty hard. They're exerting their dominance. They have a 3,000 gold lead. They have the right to take the fight, right? Here, this Gold's Fury, this is the right play. You have to make this play. But they got to be a little bit careful. There's damage on the Hestrix. Repicos looking for it, gets the kill of the backline. And the backline has been invaded on Hestrix, down for the count. That's 1 for none.
Caro still has Kraken available, hasn't used it quite yet. Murder and Game Hunter both low, but Joshy, 1 HP. There's the meditation. Nice Kraken coming out of Caro, but the Aegis saves Joshy's life for the time being. Repicos finally able to pick him up once that relic wears off. Rebound, still chasing No Numbers down. He jukes back into the unstable vortex. Farrakrick picks up his second kill of the game.
And tossed aside. Farrakrick picks up his second kill of the team fight, his third kill of the contest. 3-1 and 6 for the new mid laner, taking over for Mr. Stefan in a week. It's been about a week, if not less,
really,
and
yeah.
Farrakrick has been looking pretty strong here.
Yeah.
What's your official mid lane analysis on Mr. Farrakrick?
Pretty strong. That's, I mean, he's not looking like this unbelievable mid player that I can't wait to see the talent up. I mean, Mr. Stefan impressed me more in his short time with this roster, but overall, I think that he definitely, if he's able to get the work in, because it's so hard to come in and play middle lane as a new member of a team.
Absolutely.
There's so many different synergies. It's not like where you're in the duo lane where you just got to worry about how you fight, how you team fight in the end game, and what your support thinks about you. In the middle lane, you're working with your support, you're working with your jungler, you're calling rotations. You know, you got a lot of stuff to keep track of, and so it's very difficult to come into that sort of environment and impress early on, but Farrakrick looking pretty strong.
I really like how he's been able to avoid trouble. He might not always be where he needs to be on the damage, and he might not always be slamming down where his spells need to be, but he's avoiding getting into trouble himself, which is a really big part of playing that mid lane. Gold Fury again being started. 50% back up as it gets leashed. Last minute monsters in position. Freeze hits no one. Murder gets made a fool of. Knocked up and knocked down. Murder gets taken out.
No numbers, can't find a home, but through space of time hits two. Now rebound, chasing him down. Two-man stun. Desert Fury right on top. No numbers, but the great crack in there from Caro is able to pick up one. Rebound very, very low. He's going to exit stage left. The rest of New Game Plus gets cleaned up. Nice and easy. Repicas the only one still alive, but he's got no ultimate either. Last minute monsters.
What a
here at the last minute. Yeah,
that's where I was going. What a fitting name. They're actually beyond their own last minute. We're here in the last minutes of the tournament, and they're turning into monsters. If this team looked like this at the beginning of the day, I think that this team might even qualify, let alone cut it close.
I mean, New Game Plus looked like the second best team throughout the majority of the day, outside of only Cyclone, in my mind. Cyclone GG, the clear best team here today, going 4-0, looking very, very strong, securing a well-deserved spot in the SPL. But for me, New Game Plus looked like the second best team, and this just doesn't look like them that we saw earlier on.
I want to give a shout out to Cyclone as well. I think not just us here in the booth, but also fans at home. I think we can all agree that Cyclone GG looked like the strongest team out here, bar none. And they played with 6 players. They didn't even have a standard lineup throughout the entirety of the day.
No.
Think about that. They played around with Ice Ice Baby and All Hell Muppets, depending on the game. That's a bigger feat.
Yeah, they're gonna start just. You know, Muppets, how you feeling today? Not so good. All right, Ice, you're in.
No, this is exactly what it is. Ice is the default, but when they need a Hunbat, they call up All Hell.
That's
Muppets.
right. Now the Portal Demon gonna go the way of New Game Plus. They do steal that away, but Repicas still looking to engage. He does have his relics available, and there it is. The Purification Beads gonna need to use his Aegis here very, very soon. Murder trying to help him out. There it is. The Kraken only gonna find the 2 tanky targets. Hestrix able to pick up Reppy.
The mobility out of the Susano. No numbers, has no mobility. Rooted, stunned, over the wall, and met with the assassin. See ya! Farrakrick gets the kill. It's 17-7.
Game Hunter still in his lane, pushing down that tier 2 tower. He is able to get that very important 1,500 gold for his squad, but how about the Fire Giant being started up right now by New Game Plus? They do have to worry about someone coming through this portal here.
No, they don't. If somebody walks through that portal, they die.
I mean, potentially, but they'd have to come off that Fire Giant at the very least. You could send Murder in through that portal easily. That's exactly what he's done. Game Hunter's made the rotation from that left-hand side.
Now this is dangerous.
All the way into the right side jungle. Nice wall there for Murder, prevents Joshi from going up and over.
And there's the jump forward, looking for the kill. All of a sudden, last minute monsters turn around. Kiro down, Murder down, 5 alive for New Game Plus to watch as last minute monsters walk around and frankly, do whatever they want.
5K gold in the lead right now.
It's not even that big of a lead.
No, but the XP difference is pretty solid, almost 8,000 gold, and it's just the momentum is all in last minute monsters' favor. Repicas is the same level as Hestrix right now, and that's pretty amazing, as well as Game Hunter, the same level as Joshi because of that last split push, but it just hasn't been enough. Rebound has been infinitely more effective than no numbers in this game. Murder not as effective as Half Devil.
Not at all, and this is one of those where the numbers are deceiving. I mean, this for all intents and purposes should be a relevant team fight, and it's just not. Last minute monsters just have this one under control. Kiro drops a Kraken that actually hits 3 or 4 players, and it just doesn't matter.
Murder gonna get pulled back in. Nice wall, but the reflective mirror right over top of it. Rebound's able to pick him up. No numbers. He's teleported in around the backside,
this
but
is bad news
he
bears.
doesn't have an ultimate. My man.
What's he doing?
I don't know about this, man.
Surrounded.
Game Hunter actually picks up 2 though because of that.
2, but he's spanked right after the fact.
I mean, that 2 kills in this scenario saves your Phoenix more than likely. Repicas, he's gonna fall as well. Caro, the only one left to try and defend. Rebound, he's trying to pick him up as well. Dashing in, Hestrix, he's taking the Phoenix. He's gonna fall, as will Caro. Murder has respawned though, so no deicide for last minute monsters quite yet. without Joshy, without Hestrix, no real physical damage here. I don't think there's any way they get this Phoenix.
I mean, Rebound is going all for it.
He's giving it the old college try.
The old college try?
Yeah, that's what it's called. I don't know why, but
I'm familiar, actually, with that idiom, believe it or not.
Really? Yeah, I don't know what it means, but it's a thing.
Is it?
Yeah, the old college try. I don't know, like maybe you're not trying in high school and you got to try in college. I don't know.
Hey kids, don't listen to Ryan. Try in high school.
Well, that's like, I'm just trying to figure it out. There are lots of like these old idioms that just don't make any sense.
Oh, of course.
We've been over one of them. It's my personal pet peeve.
Which one?
And how? How does that mean I agree with you wholeheartedly? That's what it means.
And how?
I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, it was a little weird. Me and Totally were talking about some other outdated things, idioms, and sartorial choices. Speaking of outdated, Game Hunter certainly not looking like he used to. 4-3-1, a deceptive slash line for what once was one of the best players in the SMITE Pro League. Just does not look like he used to.
No, I mean, he used to be a solo laner. Definitely his highlight reel moment was it was during the launch tournament.
Not the pentakill. He had so many other good plays.
It's the pentakill.
Stop.
It's the pentakill. It has to be. I mean, the first pentakill in like the biggest competitive play, the one that started it off, the launch tournament.
Vamana. I don't
he
know.
still killed 5.
It's Game Hunter really was fantastic back in the day, and to glorify it, to reduce his career down to a Vamana ultimate pentakill is offensive to the legacy that was Team Solo Mid.
I just think that's when most people hear the name Game Hunter, that's what they're going to think of, is the Vamana pentakill.
You're right, and that's unfortunate. Last Minute Monsters, very fortunate for them. 11K in the lead. It's 24-10. We got 22 minutes on the clock, and LMM looking absolutely incredible.
There are those spoilers we were talking about, man. They're coming up from the bottom.
And they have no chance. They have no horse in this race.
Nope.
0.
Nope.
No way they make it to the Pro League.
Nope.
But they're here battling it out anyway.
Yep. They're looking pretty good doing it. There's Hestrix using that Typhoon a little bit off the mark there, looking to chase down Murder, but Kero, he's going to fall to the hands of Ferricrik yet again. They've got opposite score lines, Tom. 1-7, 7-1.
Ooh.
Definitely favoring the new mid laner.
It's actually very interesting. I really like the fact that Giannis, both his kills and assists are multiples of 7.
I'm glad you like that.
7 and 14 assists.
Hestrix getting chased down by Repikas in this jungle, but Joshy, he baited him right to the portal. Joshy was waiting for him. Hestrix gonna have some abilities soon, but Game Hunter, they're baiting each other to their respective hunters.
And here's gonna be help from No Numbers, jumps over the top, able to smack down Hestrix. That's gonna be kill number 11 for New Game Plus. But again, we've seen this episode, No Numbers surrounded by players in the wrong jersey, and he falls down. Ferricrik, oh no.
No longer a
He
multiple of
needs
7.
2 assists, so it stays a multiple of 8.
Okay, we'll get right on that. He's playing so well that I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up 2 assists very quickly. Repikas up in the sky, looking to stop this Fire Giant attempt for last minute monsters.
Jumps onto the players instead of the objective, like the choice. A lot of players might have gone for the objective, but disrupting the play is probably the better situation.
Now Repikas on the run, Half Devil using that portal, courtesy of Through Space and Time, to get himself into the enemy backline. Murder walls himself off. There's the Kraken hitting 2, just trying to save Murder's life, but it's not going to be enough. Ferricrik picks up a kill and not an assist. 9-1 and 14. The mid laner looking very, very strong.
So, we were talking earlier, or I was talking on my stream the other day, what characters are the most devastating to play from behind? And the mage class in general, when you release the Kraken, and you hear the giant sound cue, you see the huge graphic, and it just tickles 3 people. At that point, you saw Kero walk away, and he felt some type of way.
Repikas trying to steal away this Fire Giant, but it's not going to happen. Game Hunter, now he's got a Fire Giant Amaterasu to worry about. Nice axe on the 180, going to keep him alive for the time being, but it's not going to help his teammate out. Repikas falls to Joshy. No Numbers able to trade out for that kill, but he's not going to be able to stay alive for too much longer. Just way too much damage between these 2 characters. Murder, the only one still left for New Game Plus.
So before we switch, Aggro, Look at me, because they're going to switch to it. Who is top damage in the game right now?
I'm going to give it to... Faircrick's the obvious answer, but yeah, okay, I'll say Faircrick.
It's Faircrick.
Nice, dude. I was going to say Hestrix potentially, but just not quite there. No, Hestrix is just, he's been doing a whole lot for the team, really pulling people in, but Faircrick doing a ton of damage with these unstable vortexes, and it's getting that Rod of Tahuti online very, very early. Now he's going to back and buy this Spear of Desolation, and I like this build path so much more than buying Spear of Desolation third item. You always want penetration third as a mage, but you're just, it's so expensive to get at that stage.
It's so expensive.
It's a lot of power, but the flat pen is good, and it's really technically better early on than percent pen, but still, it's just way too expensive in my mind to pick it up third item. It's a great item for Giannis, just not early on in the game. In this scenario, love it. Perfect.
So I want you to dive a little bit deeper than we usually do. I think Last Minute Monsters have a big enough lead that we can sort of talk over the next fight. But Spear of Desolation has actually changed from Season 3. So talk to me about talk to me a little bit about the new Spear of Desolation and why you like it.
So the new Spear of Desolation doesn't have that passive of getting resets whenever you get kills.
No more free Thanatos passive.
Nothing like that. It's all about the magical penetration and CDR.
Oh.
I thought we could talk over this.
We could, but this was exciting. There's the Kraken. They killed Hestrix. They used one ult and a big blink. That's going to be a big deal.
But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Caro just getting shredded way too far forward. Faircrick's able to pick him up as well. Double digits for him in kills, 10-1 and 17.
So your Spear of Desolation.
Right, so now they got the flat penetration, it's got a little bit of CDR, as well as 80 magical power. So it's still a pretty big magical power boost, but it's all about that flat pen and CDR mostly.
Reppy, run.
Hey, he's out.
Nice catch.
That was good. Nice axe there from Game Hunter.
Yeah. But the Phoenix on the left side, about half HP. Still being aggressed on by the Hunter and, well, everybody else. Down it goes. Phoenix is toasted. Last Minute Monsters making their final push here, ladies and gentlemen. And they have an absorbent lead. 15,000 gold above their opposition. Again, Last Minute Monsters don't have a horse in this race. New Game Plus are trying to hold on to their SPL dreams.
Joshy uses his jump there. There's the freeze murder. He's going to fall to no numbers.
Defense.
Rebound, only one left here to try and get away. Surrounded, we've seen it. It's been no numbers in the middle of the enemy team. This time, Rebound takes a page out of his opponent's book. 4 dead, right, or 3 dead. Hestrix has respawned to that initial pick, but a good defense overall from New Game Plus.
Absolutely, that is exactly what you needed to stop. Here in New Game Plus, a Phoenix I think is out of the question. I think we see 2 towers and a Gold Fury.
Gold Fury would help them out. You see they are missing some key items across the board, basically. Game Hunter, he needs his Deathbringer. Caro, he still needs his Rod of Tahuti as well.
I don't hate this play for the Phoenix. I think it's a little bit risky, but at the end of the day, when you're down this much, you kind of have to risk it for the biscuit. Credit to Peckies. Hestrix gets the kill onto Murder. Might have been a little bit more than they can chew, but the Firebird does go down. There's the ultimate out of Hestrix.
Yeah, I think that going for the Gold Fury there is better as of right now, but it doesn't get you a chance to win the game. Uh-oh. Caro. Cut off. Hestrix going to be able to chase down Game Hunter on the left-hand side. No numbers. He's in trouble as well. Repicos is back. They're actually going to turn it around. They're looking for Faircrick. He's going to fall.
And there's the ultimate out of Joshy. No numbers, finds safety across the way, able to jump over. Have to have a lining up that pull. There's the root, going to be off the cuff. Trying to find it. There's a pull, and Hestrix gets credit for it. Faircrick is dead, but you've got 2 members on New Game Plus down for the count.
Now, it looks like Last Minute Monsters, they're looking to end. They're not looking to take down either of the last 2 Phoenixes. Great pull by Hestrix, finds both. Repicos, he's going to fall. Rebound picks him up with that dazzling offense. Caro, Kraken to save his life just for a little bit. Rebound picks him up as well. And New Game Plus cannot secure their spot in the SPL quite yet.
Somebody put Last Minute Monsters on the back of an old Honda Civic because they are huge spoilers right now. 40 kills in total, half hour on the clock, and the Titan's gonna go down. LMM just taking the win.
Wow, and it's all about the mid-jungle combination. Rebound, we didn't say his name a whole lot. He ends up with double-digit kills as well. 41 to 17. Really, no doubt, that entire game, the Last Minute